Druid is silent. Then he says, they tried to eradicate us, but we are better than them. Me. Oh, thank God. Necromancer. Aw. Yeah, just buy them all instead. Hey guys, Charlie Day here, and it's always sunny in r/DnDGreentext. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another video. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into it, I want to quickly kindly ask you if you're not yet subscribed to the channel to consider doing so now. It only takes a moment, you can do it later if you want, and yeah, I appreciate it so much if you do, so thank you for that. Links below if you... what? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Fighter speaks Goblin. Party finds a random Goblin. They soon realize that it only speaks Goblin. The human fighter tries to look cool. They claim they speak Goblin. It's not one of their languages. The fighter proceeds to speak broken Goblin in the same manner as a middle-aged white woman tries ordering in Spanish at a Mexican restaurant. The Goblin attacks the party as a result. Anyone else have something this stupid happen? I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would have been better if the Goblin just got offended and walked away, not straight up attacked them for that, for trying to communicate, but yeah, I don't know. The party searches for adventure. Had the shortest quote-unquote campaign of my life, with the last players that I tried running something for. Get everyone together after deciding to play a game and make characters together casually with no issue. Players mention they don't like railroady campaigns, and I assure them that's fine, I don't run plots. Give a quick 1-minute rundown on the basics of the setting and ask players to come up with some goal for the character in the next week, finding their father's murderer or something, I don't care. Fast forward to session 1. Everyone shows up on time, which is great. Do game opener of the party passing through the town square where a band of mercenaries are recruiting people to join them in hunting a dragon. The party listens and then asks to go to the market to buy some things. The merchants in the market are discussing how grains are getting more expensive due to droughts and increased banditry, and remarks on the weapons that the party are carrying as evidence of how dangerous it is to travel now. Party asks to go to an inn to look for quest leads, quote unquote. That's where I cut my losses and got out Mario Kart instead. There's just no point. You could say they just didn't like the hooks presented, or the hooks weren't presented aggressively enough, but they were also given free rein to convince each other to go out and search for their own personal hook that they came up with for themselves, which should absolutely be something they were interested in. If the players aren't any good, why bother playing with them? Simple as. The Sorcerer and the Artificer. Romance stories thread. Post your happiest or funniest romantic or stories that you have from your game that you still look back fondly on. Or post the worst ones that either you or your group has ever had to suffer through. Do you wonder which one this is? Our party consisted of a bard, a fighter, an artificer, and a WM sorcerer. The sorcerer asked me if they could multiclass into artificer. I said it would be okay, but he should talk to the artificer if it would be cool with her. In-game, the sorcerer asked the artificer if he could become her student. Artificer begrudgingly agreed, but she was clearly not happy about it. Over the course of the campaign, the sorcerer would constantly attempt to increase his skill. He would constantly ask for advice from the artificer, but she would near constantly belittle him for his failures. This never dissuaded the sorcerer, and he would continue trying. Little by little, he would improve, mostly failing but never giving up. Slowly, the artificer was noticing his determination and unwillingness to give up. It got to the point when he would finally be creating his first infusion, a dingy-looking bag of holding. Excited, he would show it off to the artificer, asking for her opinion. She looked upon it, not with disdain, but with the same elation as he did. Slowly, they started working together on shared projects. They got closer to each other and would enjoy each other's company. Until one night, the artificer asked him why he wanted to be an artificer. Sorcerer. All my life, I thought my magic could only destroy. I always feared I would be the ruin of everything around me. That was until I met you. You showed me that my power could be used to create and make things better. You showed me a better path. For that, I was determined to follow by your example. Tearing up, the artificer wanted to kiss the sorcerer. Unfortunately, the bard and the fighter were a bit too loud, so it kinda ruined the mood. Okay, that's that's interesting, I guess. That was a nice ending. Coffin Maker has the fear of God put in him. First ever post, sorry if bad. That's adorable. Bimi, level 6 life domain cleric. Binatmi, level 6 drow, artificer, and dragonborn fighter. First ever campaign playing Curse of Strahd. Slight spoilers for the module. Party needs to go into Castle Ravenloft, but they're underleveled. I decide that we need stealth armor, but don't have the money. Party gets side jobs and quests for the money. Artificer works at a blacksmith, and I go to a church, while the Dragonborn does odd jobs. I get a quest from the priest to find some stolen bones. Find the guy that took the bones and threaten him for where they are. Says the coffin maker has them. I proceed to run into the guy's house and use thaumaturgy as I bust down his door. Ground shakes, candles flicker, and voice booms 3 times louder screaming for the bones. The coffin guy, who was just eating breakfast, is now freaking out thinking that God just busted open his door. Tells me that the bones are upstairs, and I run up and get them and run back down. I try and use command on him to make him sleep, but fail. Guy still thinks that I'm God and lays his head in his food pretending to sleep. I return the bones and get paid. The Artificer gets armor for free, so I did this for nothing. Still fun and proud of this quest. TLDR, pretended to be God and scared the life and breakfast out of a coffin maker for some bones. And who would have thought that spell creation could be so eco-friendly? Be me, 5th edition DM. Be not me, wizard player. One-on-one game. Yeah boy, I run a very methodical and in-world slower paced game. Magic was stuck on 3rd level maximum for years, but has been increasing after some story stuff happened. Players need to slowly develop spells and there are a ton of restrictions, which we discussed and agreed on prior to the campaign. Calm down, don't sue me, I have rights. Players need to discover spell trees so that they can unlock the higher level ones that are related to it. Dragon's Breath plus Polymorph plus Transfer's Transformation equals Draconic Transformation type. Also, massively slowed spell acquisition compared to Raw. Like 2 weeks downtime for a new 3rd level spell. But players can create custom spells with approval. Anyway, more story stuff happens and the player in question wants to relocate from current HQ, aka Magic Academy trademark. Current HQ gives big buff to spell development speed, and current HQ is also in danger of probable, perhaps, who knows, total annihilation from weapons of mass destruction. Player chooses the clearly cowardly option to run away from the said absolutely totally hypothetical scenario. He tells me that it's called a tactical retreat. Semantics. However, he doesn't want his spell development efforts to slow down. Bastard has like 14 different spells in the pipeline. He wishes to take important tomes from a very expensive collection which grants said speed buff. Yeah, no bud, mad expensive yo, says the librarian. Player has an idea. Wait, can I just copy the books? Sure thing, if you have like a year of continuous writing and the sheer amount of materials to spare. He gets sad, but then DM sweating profusely.jpg. I do have fabricates though. Oh boy, here we go. Beamy. Startled DM reading through the spell because no one ever uses that. Okay, so fabricate, 4th level transmutation. You convert raw materials into products of the same material. For example, you can fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees, a rope from a patch of hemp, and clothes from flax or wool. You choose the raw materials that you can see within range, and you can fabricate large or smaller objects given sufficient quantity of raw material. Okay, I guess. I'm not reading all of it, but yeah, it seems to make sense. I mean, he had used it before, but what does fabricate even do? Half proud of this man's ingenuity, half oh god. Moments later, the player, with a surprisingly defeated tone, proclaims, ah crap, I don't have proficiency in calligraphy, which is what I would need, I think. Right, DM? Don't give me that. I ain't stealing this moment from him. Player has proficiency in cartographer's tools. It's all scribbles and drawings and anyways, right? I'ma let it work. It's just gonna be in an arcane Comic Sans font all the way through. And probably unreadable to anyone else due to terrible handwriting. Relatable, really. Final Fantasy VIII victory music.mp3.
The most surprise! I lulled you into a false sense of security.
You see, I still wish to see him struggle a little. Hey Mr. Player, but what about the material needed? I ask with the innocence of a torch-wielding arsonist. Player is really into the logistics bullshit gameplay and starts making cost estimates. Realizes that this is way too out of budget. DM giveth and DM taketh away. Bummer. Couple of in-game days go by and the player in question uses up most of their resources to effectively make a paperback version of a couple of tomes. Then it happened. A great spear of wisdom struck his mighty cranial vessel, carrying with it the majestic sapience of the eco-friendly arcanist, trademark. Yo DM, Can it be any type of paper? Could I reuse some of my notes as materials? A smile runs across my face as I reel him in, for this man has been baited towards knowledge. Wait, can I put up a notice on like a bulletin board for people to just throw used paper sheets inside my office? Always proud to graduate another student of the magic school of well-meaning shenanigans. Fabricate only checks whether the material exists, not their shape, which in this case is books. Materials with scribbled paper notes do carry within them. Even if I were to be stingy, I interpret as written pages becoming other written pages. Same thing. The recycling campaign spell effort is now in full motion, and this green arcanist wants you to give him your used paper sheets and leftover bottles of ink. This man is unquestionably the most efficient recycling facility there will ever be. I mean, the spell is straight up 100% conversion of materials. As of now, he has completed about 7 out of 20 essential books due to newly adopted eco-friendly practices. This is the type of initiative that the magical community should be funding. The Silver Flame Shifters, becoming that which you fear. Be me, 18th level Barbarian in 5th edition. Be not me, Druid and Necromancer. Be attacking, liberating a Silver Flame city with a shifter army led by our Druid, who's also a shifter. The Druid tells us that when the Silver Flame purged the shifters, they just burned down the entire forest nation and every animal, plant and shifter in it. The entire area is still marked on maps as the Burning Wastes 20 years later. They didn't call it a war, they called it animal control. Backstory trauma.gif. With our party leading the charge, the shifter army emerged victorious against the Silver Flame. There are lots of prisoners, including non-combatants. Druid turns to the generals of her victorious army. Druid is silent. Then he says, they tried to eradicate us, but we are better than them. Me. Oh, thank God. Necromancer. Aw. Yeah, just buy them all instead. Record scratch. Now, the surviving entire population of this city and probably all future cities will be Silver Flame and shifters. I don't see how this could cause problems in the future. Using World War II in a fantasy role-playing game. Are there any World War II but fantasy settings or systems? Also, World War II but fantasy thread. Be me, American soldier. Be landing Omaha Beach on D-Day. Sergeant tells us to ready our healing potions. Johnson fails his wisdom save and throws up from nerves and seasickness. We arrive on the shore. Back of the platoon boat drops. Be greeted by a line of soldiers casting fireballs at us. Try to jump into the water to avoid getting burned. Roll a 5 on my acrobatics check. Get cooked alive by the fire. Fail my death saves. Last thing I see is Hitler riding in on a literal dragon. Honestly, I find this concept really interesting. Jesus Christ, I guess it could be interesting, sure. Alright, on that note, that's gonna be it for today's video, so thanks so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. Also, thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon as well as on YouTube as channel members, I appreciate it a lot, so thanks so much for that. Links below if you wanna check those out, as well as links to the social media, Discord, everything else. And yeah, that's it, thanks again for watching, I'll see you next time, have a great day, bye!